All right, let's talk about introducing writing for grade 4, module A. So the students are working towards demonstrating their understanding of the writing and language standards through the performance-based task that will happen at the end of module A. Module A will last 4 weeks long. During weeks 1 and 2, they will go through a very teacher-directed writing process where you'll introduce things piece by piece, day by day. And then during weeks 3 and 4, they'll repeat the writing process, but it will be less about the direct instruction, more ownership by the students. While these writing process cycles going on, we're going to be targeting the specific standards for this module. And we're going to do that through teaching the writing, through the reading, the text that we're already engaged in. So during weeks 1 and 2, it's going to be the Tarantula Scientist. And then during weeks 3 and 4, we'll bring in the other text that we're going to add on during our reading. So what does this look like every day? During week 1 and 2, you have 10 days of instruction. During day 1, the students will learn about the introduction. Day 2, purpose. Day 3, research. And during each one of these days, you're going to be modeling this for them before they engage in the tasks independently on their own. During weeks 3 and 4, when the writing process cycle repeats, they're going to go through the actual writing process on their own, where they analyze the prompts, they pre-write, they begin their draft. We work on organizing details, linking words, developing their conclusion, revising, and then publishing and presenting. So even though there's more student ownership during this time, there's still specific spots for teacher direct instruction. Also, during each one of the days of Module A, there are little mini lessons that you do for the different conventions for the language standards. So let's take a look at what this looks like. So week 1, lesson 1 is about the introduction. ReadyGen actually gives you the information of what you can share with your students for each different lesson. This is going over the introduction, the body, and the conclusion, how the introduction is the main topic and helps focus the reader. The body includes supporting details like facts, examples, and descriptions. It has visuals like photographs that help reinforce the text. We have a conclusion, which is basically a summary or a summarization of what has already been given. ReadyGen tells you which pages to open up to in order to teach the writing section. It begins on page 7 in this text. When we look closer, it directs us to read the first sentence. It tells us to help the students identify this is the topic of the book. It also gives us more important details later on in paragraph 4 about what Sam Marshall is, what he does for his work. And all of these things are important because we're using this text to model for our students what they're going to do in their own writing. For the convention section of the lesson, it is a review of common nouns and proper nouns. It also helps you use the text, again, the text that you've already read for the reading section of the day to reinforce these language standards. And then we're using sentences right out of the text to practice identifying proper nouns and common nouns. So we get into the actual writing process piece for writing effective introductions. ReadyGen tells you what the 3 areas are that we want our students to include in their introductions. And then we have graphic organizers on our site here that will help you help your students to plan and pre-write as they prepare to answer their task for the day. So their task for the day is to introduce a topic. They're going to pick a public figure whose achievements have helped others. They're going to write a brief introductory paragraph about their subject's achievements. Now, before they do this on their own, you have to model it for them. So there's 2 different planning organizer for students. One's just a table and the other one's more of like a web. You can also create your own. You also don't have to use the Word document. You can use something in Google Drive or Office 365 that allow for digital web-based access. So here we have an example. I'm using Steve Jobs, but you're going to use any example, or you guys can make one up as you go with, during a shared writing experience with your class. But you want to practice using an organizer and then show them what it looks like to turn that organizer into a paragraph. While the students are beginning their independent writing, what is the teacher doing? She can be meeting in a small group to help learners that they already know might be struggling. Also, they could be walking around the room facilitating through questioning. We have some questions listed here that will help you facilitate with content, and we also have just a couple reminders of how you can reinforce those convention standards from the day as you're having conversations with your students. Ultimately, though, remember that our plan and goal is for them to get their ideas down on paper to introduce their topics, so we don't really need to worry too much right now about editing for perfection. So good luck, and hope that using ReadyGen on day one goes smooth for you. Have a great day.